So today I wanted to talk about the fact that love at first sight definitely means logic at first step. So what do I mean by that? So the truth is, whether you want to believe this or not, we all make decisions from an emotional place, right? So even those of us who really believe that we are heavily steeped in logic and that is where most of our decision making comes from, the psychology and the science says that that's actually not true. That basically we all are making decisions from emotional places, which is perfectly fine. But I want to talk a little bit about how it's super important to step back, get the education foundation, get some of these pieces in place so that when we are working on making smart, well aligned decisions, even though those are going to be ultimately fairly emotional decisions, that they are heavily tied and steeped with this education background, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. So first of all, obviously, for those of you who maybe don't know, I have a heavy background in money. I literally have read Sound Mind Investing when I was in seventh grade. I then went on to work in the mortgage space. I have worked in insurance, so both homeowners and car insurance, as well as life insurance. I have a law degree, and so I have all of these very practical, heavy education-based things that all really well tie in to financials, right? And so even with all of that, I still make some fairly emotional decisions when it's coming to money. The difference is that when I am making decisions, and I talk about this a fair bit with my family and friends, I am making them from a heavily educated place. So I understand some of the repercussions, I understand some of the situations or whatever. And let me tell you why in home buying, this matters so incredibly much. So first of all, as most of you are well aware, owning a home is going to be the largest financial transaction you likely ever partake in. So unless you're doing heavy transacting of buying a lot of businesses or, huge portfolios of things or whatever, buying a home is likely going to be one of, if not the biggest transactions you ever hold in your life. And so it really baffles me, and it's why I do so much surrounding education, how there are so many people who they go ahead and they're looking to make this big decision, but they don't want to spend the time with a mortgage professional, not only working to properly get pre-qualified, but also waiting and understanding and finding the right person to help you with that process, and then leveraging their expertise to help you understand what does and doesn't make sense. People ask me all the time, when is the right time to start looking to get ready to buy a home? And honestly, the answer is now. Not because I think that you need to buy a house right now. So don't misunderstand me. I get it. There is a lot of people out there. They are trying to push you into a box that you don't belong into, or they just want you to buy a house so that they can pad their bank account or go ahead and get you to get that commission for themselves. I get that. Anybody, though, who's a true expert knows and understands what we want, and what we're looking to do is try to help you understand where you're at and then where exactly you may need to be if it's not in a place right here to be able to get in the position to be able to buy that house. I'm in a plethora of different moms groups, the different female related groups. And in those groups, a lot of times these women are asking for the advice of other women on, is it the right time for me to buy a house? And the funny part is that all these women with this teeny tiny bit of information that the person is providing, the original poster is providing, they're weighing in on all of these heavy financial decisions. And I hate to tell you, but you shouldn't be looking for your alignment, looking for your information, looking for your education from people who may be incredibly well-intentioned, but they often are not experts. They often do not necessarily have your best interest at heart. I mean, heck, half the time the women that are posting are anonymous, so we don't know a lick about you. And so it really upsets me because I want you to go ahead and make those emotional choices, but I want them to be aligned. And I want them to be aligned because you have sorted through some of the education and that you have taken the time to step back for a minute and figure out exactly where you're at on that, right? And I get it. We are living in a TikTok world where, you're making decisions and I'm gonna be a little bit different in the sense that I think that you shouldn't make split decisions like that. If you're really firm and you're really sound on the fact that that is an aligned choice, then absolutely by all means make it. You know yourself better than I do. But I'm going to tell you that if you don't have that really good sense of calm about the choice that you are making, it may not be the right choice.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Welcome to Financial Mastery Simplified, your go-to podcast for making smart money decisions. We break down complex financial topics into easy-to-understand advice you can use every day. Our experts cover everything from budgeting and saving to investing and retirement planning. We give you the tools to take control of your money and build the future you want. With Financial Mastery Simplified, you'll feel informed and empowered to make the best choices for your financial health. Tune in to Financial Mastery Simplified on your favorite podcast platform. Start your journey to financial confidence today.
Visit us at fms.tips and fms.college for more information.
Welcome to House U, where we believe in the power of education. At House U, we're more than just a brand. We're your partner in home ownership, dedicated to educating, equipping, and empowering you every step of the way. Education is at the heart of everything we do. We offer comprehensive resources designed to make home ownership simple and accessible for all. From understanding mortgage options to mastering home maintenance, House U provides the knowledge you need to make informed decisions with confidence. We host workshops and seminars, bringing together experts and community members to share insights and build a stronger, more informed community. Because when you're educated, you're empowered. House U, home ownership made simple for all. Visit our website or contact us today to start your journey with House U. Empower yourself with knowledge and embrace the joy of home ownership.
Thanks for your patience. Now back to our conversation.
And so if your gut is saying yes, but your brain says wait, you need to listen to both. And that sounds kind of like a crazy thing for me to say, but it is true, right? So if your gut is saying like, yes, it's maybe the time or whatever, but your brain is kind of saying wait, it may be because your brain needs a little bit more information. It needs a little bit more education to feel really comfortable with the choice that you're making, right? So I want you to understand that you can make aligned choices and they can be educated choices, even though you're still probably going to be making them from an emotional place. And that is a-okay. But we need to be seeking out experts who actually really care, who are providing you resources, who are not just blowing you off, right? So we recently invested in a product for our team that allows you to be able to have a totally free look, like we pay for it, but basically a totally free look at your credit. It helps you understand where you're at on your savings. You even can put in like your income amounts and things like this, right? And it basically does a lot of education pieces, which again, anybody who knows me knows I'm super passionate about education. And why did I invest in it? Well, I get really sick and tired, and this is something that I've been struggling with today, particularly with people that are only out for, we kind of know that joking saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And so a lot of people are not realizing or recognizing that a lot of these tools they think they're using, tools, I'll use that word, they think that they're really great and well aligned with their goals. And in actuality, they are selling their information. And so I'll give you a perfect example. So Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, raise your hand if you utilize those, if you have utilized those in past. So I'm a nerd. I like to research everything. And so I have signed up for a bunch of stuff that I know how they work on the back end, but I still am curious. So I sign up to see how they operate. And I will tell you that personally, our credit has taken a fairly significant financial hit due to some things happening behind the scenes in my personal life. And yet still, I receive emails pretty much weekly from those companies telling me that my credit approval odds are great for some credit card that a credit card company has paid them to promote. Let me just be very clear. There is probably no credit card company in the current state that would be offering me lines of credit. And so for them to say that is pretty ludicrous. And not only is it a little bit ludicrous, but it also actually can damage my credit potentially if I go apply and they do a hard pull on my credit. Now, some of them have gotten smart. Some of them are doing some soft pulls to kind of avoid damaging credit and all that kind of stuff. However, I'm just telling you that they're out for selling the information, right? And so I invested in this program because I actually used it for myself for a few years. And I really saw the help in it. It really helped me understand where I was at. And in specifically, this one is a little bit more geared towards homeownership. You could use it for other reasons and other purposes, but it was specifically more geared towards homeownership because obviously that's like the space that I work in. And it is a really big, important decision. And as a consumer, I can totally understand how you feel really lost. You feel really lost about who do I even listen to? Who do I even trust? Who is actually out to help me and not trying to just force me to get a commission check, right? Like that definitely feels yucky and not super comfortable or whatever, right? And so what ends up happening? People end up going with their bank, which they feel like that person has their best interest at heart. Banking is not their mortgage is not their primary focus. So there can be some serious negatives there. I actually talk about that in my book, but also they end up going with just whoever is in their mind at that particular moment, right? And we joke with all of our customers that once you work with us, you're stuck with us. And why do I say that? I say that because I want them to understand that just because they've completed a transaction does not mean that I will not be there to be a resource. We have people who call us monthly that have questions and we answer them. Yes, granted, they're not doing a transaction with us at that moment. It does not matter. It's about us doing right by our clients. It's about us helping them make informed decisions. It's about education. And you aren't going to necessarily know this stuff without that education. You're not going to understand the process. You're not going to understand what to look out for, the red flags, the pitfalls. One of my most viewed videos on TikTok is actually how long does it take to go through underwriting? And I personally believe the reason that it's the most viewed video on TikTok is because people are looking for information because nobody told them what the process is going to look like. Nobody told them how long it was going to take, what they should expect, any of those things. And to me, that makes me a little bit sad because we always try to educate our clients, help them understand, like, what does the application process look like? Why does it matter? Why does it matter for all these things to matter, right? It's literally why I wrote a book. We're looking to try to make sure that you as a consumer are super well informed, that you feel like you are making good decisions. Yes, buying a house is an emotional decision. It's where you're going to have family dinners. It's where you're going to bring home either possibly new children, new pets. You're going to fall in love, fall out of love. All kinds of things are going to happen in the four walls that you are going to live in. So that's emotional. But it doesn't mean that you can't educate yourself prior and make good financial decisions in the process, right? So emotional decisions, they don't have to be impulsive ones. But unfortunately, that is what the world has convinced you of. And I personally think right now what's happening is there is a lot of new people out there looking to buy homes, new homeowners or potential new homeowners, and they're feeling very, very stressed because everybody in our space is telling them now is the time to buy. And I do think that it's a good time to buy for a few different reasons. Like we have a softer market than we've had in a really long time. And so there's more opportunity for negotiation, things like that, right? I personally don't think that the rates will stay high forever. Maybe they will. I'm not that worried about it if that is what happens, but there is a possibility that they will drop some. And if they do, then that's a potential opportunity to save some money there if that does in fact happen, right? There's lots of different reasons, but I'm never going to force anybody to buy a house. What I'm going to do is try to educate you, help you understand where you're at, what your situation looks like, right? Whether it's you're signing up for this tool, which I'm going to include links down below for that tool, which you're more than welcome to sign up for it for complete free, but also because I want to make sure that when you do make that emotional choice, that it's an informed one, that it's not some crazy decision that you're like, oh, I want to buy a house. Oh, somebody said that this was the house. Oh, okay, I like it. Okay, I'm just going to do it, right? You need to make sure that you are doing it from a place that you feel comfortable and you feel intentional and you feel good about the decision that you are making. And so education doesn't have to be the buzzkill. It is your best friend when you are making a really big decision like this. And why is education your best friend? Because it ensures that you are knowing when the red flags should go off, the bells and whistles. People ask me all the time why I wrote Mortgage 101, The Secret Sauce to Home Buying, right? Basically, to be real with you, the reason that I wrote the book is because I got sick and tired. My company, we save a lot of deals. So there's a lot of times when people are at the 11th hour, the other company, mortgage company, messed up and they can't do the deal anymore. And then they come to us and we have to try to throw a Hail Mary to figure it out. We're really good at what we do. And so the vast majority of them we can figure out and make work. But I got really, really tired of the consumer not being able, right? You as the person who is purchasing the house, not being able to understand what the red flags and the bells and whistles should have been going off inside your head to tell you, hey, this may not be going the way you thought it was going to go. You may not have all the information, right? And so for me, that is what has always been so important. And so I wrote the book. Yes, of course, I hope that you find value in the resources I provide and you want to do business with myself and my team. Of course, that is ultimately what we would love. But from my heart of hearts, I want to ensure that you know what you're getting into. It's more important to me than absolutely anything else. Because what I don't want to have happen is you buy that house and then you have buyer's remorse. And now it's a lot harder to will yourself back and figure that out. And so that is what I absolutely don't want for you. Because alignment and intention are very, very important. You know, if you listen to my podcast, if you listen to any of my videos, that it's so important. It's so important to live intentionally, so important to live with alignment. And so if it is not in alignment for you to buy a house right now, hear me and hear me now. Don't do it. And I know this is coming from somebody who makes their living more or less in the mortgage space. And if you don't buy houses, then I don't make money. But also don't stay away from it if it is an aligned choice out of fear. Because if you have the right education, you absolutely can make the right choice. You absolutely can. So if somebody's trying to fear you out because there's a lot of misinformation out there, step back and ask yourself, why are you being fearful? If they're valid reasons from your perspective, right? From things like they're, hey, we're not exactly sure where we're going to be in the next couple of years. Okay, that's a very valid reason to fear buying a house because you don't know if you're going to keep it and if you have alignment on that choice. Absolutely. If you are making decisions out of a place of fear because the media told you this is a horrible time to buy a house and, oh my gosh, I have to listen to them, like that's utter ridiculousness. That should not be the reason that you are making the decision or not making the decision, right? And so just know that you don't need any more, hope this works out. I just pray that, it'll figure itself out. It's time for, I know this is the right choice for me. I know this is the right thing for me. And so I just really wanted to take a moment to kind of talk about that in specifics with home buying, mainly because I know so many people, especially in this kind of tumultuous, scary moment in time where it does. First of all, it feels a little bit impossible there's so much noise out there. There's so much noise. How do we cut through it? How do we understand it? Right. And I think it's why I wanted to make sure to create as much resource as I did, because you literally can vet my information against whoever you want. And if I'm not the aligned choice, if you listen to what I have to say and you're like, no, that's not for me, that's okay. There is tons of people in my space that would be happy to help you that are likely aligned with how you think and how you feel about mortgage and about financing and about home buying in general. And so that is perfectly, perfectly fine. Right? I just want you to make aligned choices. Your heart is picking the house, but your head is securing that future. And I know that you have the ability to really pick the best choice. You really, really do. But make sure that you are making well-informed and educated choices. And if you want to just understand where you're at right now, right? You can go down, you can click that link, you can sign up for that free tool, and it literally is going to help you do amazing things like see where your credit is at. What does it look like currently? Where are we at on our savings journey, right? My team and I will be a resource. If you want a copy of my book, you feel like you're getting close to going ahead and buying a house and you understand like what is mortgage? How does it work? You can watch any of the videos in my channel. They'll all help you. Or if you want to do that, you don't want to do that and you want to read a book, I will absolutely give you a free PDF copy of my book. You can read that, or you can purchase on Audible if you're a listener, if that's what you prefer. Just know the resources are out there for you. The information is out there for you. So when you are making that emotional choice about your first home or home number 23, that you can make aligned emotional choices, but from a very educated space. And that's really what matters here. And so myself and my team are always here. We have massive amount of resources. You're more than welcome to reach out to us. But honestly, I think your first step is just signing up for the tool. And like I said, it's going to be in the space below. I can't wait for you to make an educated choice on your journey to homeownership. That's really, to me, what it's all about. So that way, when you do find that perfect place, it's an aligned emotional choice.